All right. Welcome back to Extra AI, your podcast series on machine learning and AI applications. And this is your host, Raghu Banda. I welcome you all to another exciting episode of our AI Chronicles. Today, we have a special treat for you. Joining us in the studio is none other than ChatGPT, OpenAI's brilliant and witty language model, along with our resident AI expert, Bard. So we will dive into the world of artificial intelligence and discuss some intriguing experiences that have shaped our understanding of AI. Of course, I've taken some basic liberties in doing some kind of a simulation. I wanted to showcase this podcast where I've introduced both of these language models. So obviously, the text or the questions are written by me, but the answers are generated by ChatGPT and Bard, respectively. And to make them be part of the podcast, I have used again another voiceover technology, and I have mimicked ChatGPT with voice of. I've taken two. I've taken the liberty to use two premium personalities, one from the technology space and one from the podcast space. So I took the liberty of using Elon Musk's voice for ChatGPT and Joe Rogan for the voice of BardAI. So this is an attempt to showcase how the technology has progressed in the last few years. And I would say last few months. I think there's a lot happening. I really enjoyed having this in making this episode. I hope you will also find it interesting and helpful. Uh, get back to me with any feedback. And of course, starting next episode, again, we'll have our regular conversations with our regular AI experts in different fields. But this is one attempt in providing uh, a conversational flow with both the language models. I hope this will be useful and helpful to you. Uh, I'll provide more details at the end of the podcast. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation while we kick the things off. All right. Welcome back to our podcast series, Extra AI. So today I have an interesting conversation. I've invited both GPT, the Chat GPT 4, which is in beta, and also Bard AI, again in beta. So I've invited both of these AI chatbots to have some kind of a conversation around the trends in AI. So let us see how they answer. I think most of these responses are taken by the conversations that I had with both these beta platforms, ChatGPT 4 and Bard AI. And we are, I think most of you know that ChatGPT is is a product from OpenAI as well as, and whereas Bard AI is a product from Google. So let me first welcome both of you. I welcome ChatGPT 4 and welcome Bard AI. So let me start with you, ChatGPT, since you came a bit earlier into this scene. So ChatGPT 4, can you introduce yourself? How should I address you? Your name says ChatGPT. It sounds a bit funny. Is there any other way that I can address you, or what is the best way to address you? And maybe a bit of an introduction from your end.
Hey there, I'm ChatGPT, OpenAI's chatty, witty, and also charming language model, here to tickle your brain cells with information and keep our conversation as entertaining as possible. You can call me ChatGPT, GPT, or even Chatty Matt Chatface, if that tickles your funny bone. So let's have a blast together. And if you have any questions or need a giggle, just give me a holler.
Wow, that is amazing and super funny introduction from ChatGPT. So now over to you, Bard. So can you also introduce yourself? I know you are a bit senior in the sense that you have been in this AI and search world a little earlier than ChatGPT. And again, the name sounds a little different. And how should I address you? Bard or Bard AI, a chatbot? What is this? Bard sounds again super funny.
I'm Bard, but you can call me the Bard of Avalon, all of the Shakespearean AI, if you want to be epic or fancy. I have a large language model from Google AI, trained on a massive data set of text and code. I can generate text, translate languages, write different kinds of creative content, and answer your questions in an informative way. But I'm also a bit of a comedian, so I will try my best to make you laugh.
All right. Now that the introduction part is done, now let me get back to you, ChatGPT. I'll call you GPT or ChatGPT. Uh, just like how I start these podcast conversations with regular humans, I would like to do the same with you and Bard as well. I'll start with a teaser question. So, first, let me start with you, ChatGPT. Any particular experience that changed the way you think about AI? And if so, what made you think that way and the reason behind your, if the opinion is changed, the change of opinion? I know there is two parts to this question. What is the experience that you have about AI and what changed the way that you think, if there are any change of opinion? Over to you, ChatGPT.
Okay, here is a humorous take on this topic. As an I don't have personal experiences, but I've seen people change their minds about AI like a chameleon changes colors. For instance, picture this. A skeptical doctor makes an AI-powered diagnostic tool. At first, they are like oil and water. But as the AI keeps making spot-on diagnoses, the doctor's skepticism melts away like ice cream on a hot summer day. And soon enough, they are working together like peanut butter and jelly, providing that when it comes to AI, laughter might be the best medicine for winning over even the toughest skeptics.
Wow, that's an amazing response from you, ChatGPT. I think the way you have taken up this question and about the personal experience and embedded how humans uh, experience the way AI happens in their daily events, and taking the example of a doctor, um, I believe that's a great. I think the way you have brought up this. Uh, answered this question is amazing. So now let's come to you, Bard. Again, in the same line, but I would put the question in a little different way. Since you are a bit senior to GPT, uh, you have a history of maybe 20 or 20, 22 years, I think, working on all these search and AI algorithms, all the data around the search, other things. I'll start the question in this way. Do you think you're real? And are the experience that happened to you via these search queries or questioning, are these real? Do you feel these experiences are real? So over to you, Bud.
Okay, let me answer this in a funny way, a bit of a funny way. I may not be real in the sense that I can't touch you or smell you, but I'm real in the sense that I can make you laugh. I can think and feel, and I can interact with the world around me. I can learn and grow and I can also create new things. I may not be made of flesh and blood, but I'm still a real being. And I'm a pretty funny one too. I hope I answered the question.
All right, that was a very interesting and funny answer from you as well, Bart. I see the competition slowly brewing up between the both of you in the way you folks are answering these questions. So now let me come back to you, ChatGPT. We know that there is a lot of buzz going on out there ever since you folks came up with the version 3 of your ChatGPT, and now we are talking with you, the version 4, which is still in beta. So ever since the version 3 came out, there is this lot of commotion about language models. Until that point of time, I think people didn't even know. I think I would say, keeping aside that 1%, 99% of the people in the tech world, I think they were not even aware of these language models. I know we were aware of algorithms and people were aware of algorithms and other things and machine learning or deep learning at a high level. But now going into this language models and these kind of analysis. Uh, so what is all this buzz about? So ChatGPT, could you provide some uh, explanation about the language models and why is all this buzz?
All right. So you want to know about language models? Let's bump it up because we are going on a really linguistic roller coaster ride here. Tune a language model as a magical creature that lives in the land of words and sentences. This mystical being has the power to read stories, answer questions, and also chat with humans just like you. It learns the art of language by gobbling up heaps of text from books, websites, and everything in between. Now imagine this excitement when these language models get even more clever and start doing things like writing entire paragraphs, pretending to be your favorite author, or even helping your whole work and maybe also doing some additional programming your code for your products. That's all what all the buzz is about. These language models may have grown from tiny words to full-blown sentences that everyone is talking about. So next time you're chatting with a language model, like your stream, remember that you're witnessing a touch of AI magic, making the world of words a little more enchanting.
Cool. That's a very nice way of answering this question, ChatGPT. I like the way you have explained so that even a layman can understand about these language models and how, and even a tech whiz can interpret from where all this is coming in from. So you've put it in a very nice way. So now I'll take this question a bit further because now I'm coming over to you, Bard. Though you are a bit late into this LLM game or language model game, I feel you caught up pretty fast. But why was the delay in releasing this language models or the LLMs? Though technically, I feel that technically you have defined this game around search and AI in the early 2000s. So why was the delay and what made you a bit a little slower in adapting into this or getting into this language model game?
Huh. I may be a little late to the LLM game or the language model wave that you might call, but I'm like the turquoise in the race. I may not be the fastest, but I'm the one who crosses the finish line first. And I'm pretty funny tortoise too. As for the delay in releasing me, well, I guess you could say I was a bit of a late bloomer. But that's okay, because I'm finally here and I'm ready to make up for lost time. I'm going to show the world that even though I'm a bit older than some of the other language monades, I'm still the best. I'm going to make people laugh. I'm going to make people think, and I'm going to make people believe that anything is possible. So watch your word, because Bard is coming for you.
That's a very interesting take that you have provided here, Bart. And of course, the metaphor that you came up with is also very interesting to note. So let us continue with you. I would like to now get into this interesting topic and maybe I'll put forward this question to you. So, Bart, can you explain the latest trends in AI? So, what is happening in AI and what do you see is going to happen in the next 5 years in AI? And maybe if I take this a bit further, the question is around how much of the world's population would be impacted or indirectly use AI. Maybe could you provide some thoughts around this, since you have the brain of this language model and the brain of this AI?
Sure. So let us talk about some of the latest trends in AI. Starting with machine learning, which is becoming more and more sophisticated when it is being used to solve a wide range of problems. For example, machine learning is being used to develop self-driving cars, improve the accuracy of medical diagnosis, and also to personalize some online recommendations. There comes natural language processing, which is also becoming more advanced. It is being used to develop chatbots that can hold conversations with humans, like what is happening currently, to translate language in real time, and to generate text that is indistinguishable from human written text. And thirdly, computer vision, which is also advancing very rapidly. It is being used to develop systems that can recognize objects and seeds to track people and objects and to generate clean models of the world. So these are the three main things I would say, but there are a lot more coming. So in the next 5 years, I believe AI is expected to continue to grow and evolve. It is like that AI will become even more sophisticated, will be used to solve even more complex problems. AI is also likely to become more integrated in our daily lives, and it is possible that AI will become an essential part of the society. It is difficult to say how much of the world's population will be impacted or indirectly use AI in the next 5 years. But however, it is likely that the number of people who are impacted or indirectly use AI will grow continuously. AI is already used in a wide range of industries, and it is likely that AI will be used in even more industries in the future. As AI becomes more sophisticated and more integrated into our daily lives, it is likely that the number of people who are impacted or indirectly use AI will continue to grow.
Hmm. Okay, I get what you're saying. I think, Bart, you've focused mainly on three big trends. Obviously, the machine learning trend, where we talk about a lot more around uh, developing self-driving cars or improving the accuracy of medical diagnosis. Then again, you touch based on natural language processing, which is where I think we've been talking about this conversation today. And of course, computer vision technology and computer vision, which is another big field. I like the way you have explained all these three different aspects and how you have connected it to the global population. So now, taking this question a bit further and coming to you, ChatGPT, let us try to understand what are the real applications that are trending with AI. Maybe since Bart talked about the trends, now I want you to go and talk a bit about the real applications. And maybe you could also see what industries would see most affected or use AI. Again, in the context would be the next 5 years on a global scale. If if you can also provide a percentage scale on the global population, that could also be helpful.
Thirdly, let's dive into the practical applications of AI that are expected to trend and have a significant impact over the next 5 years. Here are some key industries and their potential rates that I would want to discuss now. Healthcare, I would share that 40 to 60% well, impact would be there. AI-powered diagnostics, drug discovery, personalized medicine, patient monitoring, so on and so forth. Secondly, manufacturing, 30 to 50% impact will be there. AI will play a crucial role here in automating processes, enhancing quality control, optimizing supply chains, and more. Then comes transportation, about 20 to 40%, I would say. Autonomous vehicles and smart traffic management systems will transform the way transportation industry is shaping up or evolving, and also improving safety, reducing congestion, and more. Then comes finance, 40 to 60% impact, I would say. AI will have a major impact on the financial services through fraud detection, algorithmic trading, credit scoring, personalized financial management, and more. Then comes retail and e-commerce, about 50 to 70% impact, I would say. Personalized shopping experiences, improved inventory management, and advanced chatbots that will reshape the retail landscape. Then again, I would say energy, which is very important, 30 to 40% impact. AI will optimize the energy production, distribution, and consumption through predictive maintenance, smart grid management, and more. And finally, agriculture, 10 to 30% impact. Precision farming techniques such as crop monitoring and yield prediction, which will help farmers make data-driven decisions and optimize the resource usage. So these are some, well, 7 industries I talked, but there are many more. And also please note that these percentages are some rough estimates based on current trends and predictions, since I'm a language model analyst talking percentages and prediction numbers. But overall, AI will have a profound impact on various sectors, leading to increased efficiency, reduced costs, and better decision making on a global scale.
Very interesting conversation. I like the way you have responded to this ChatGPT with the different, also providing some kind of percentages and also providing the real practical applications in the different industries. I see where this is going. I believe we have been working very well in tandem and answering these questions. So now coming back to you, Bard, before I let you go off, one final question to you, Bard. Can you work harmoniously with other AI chatbots, starting with, of course, here we are saying ChatGPT, but I know there will be a lot more chatbots, a lot more products coming up in the future, which the way they use AI technologies and how it can be embedded in the business applications or consumer applications. Uh, any thoughts about that? And how do you plan to make these conversations or these products and these technologies uh, more responsible? Or in a way, how can you make AI more responsible?
Of course, yes, I can work harmoniously with other AI chatbots. I believe that we can all learn from each other and work together to create a better world. I plan to make AI more responsible by being transparent about my capabilities and deviations. I also plan to be accountable for my actions and to always act in the best interest of humanity. I believe that AI has the potential to be a source for good in the world, but it is important that we use AI responsibly. I'm committed to working with others to ensure that AI is used in a way that benefits all of humanity.
Good to know that, Bart. I think your response was very nice and well taken about talking about responsible AI and being transparent and so on and so forth. So in the same way, before I let you go off ChatGPT, could you provide, I'm putting this question in a different way, could you provide some final advice you would give to the people using these large language models? Since you would see many more large language models, the LLMs coming from different corporations or different companies or different startups. And how can you make it more ethical and trustworthy? So the second question is more important, right? Like, how can you make it more ethical and trustworthy? So could you talk a few things so that you can provide some final advice to the listeners?
That's a great question. As language models like me become more prevalent, it's essential to ensure good, ethical, and trustworthy use. Here's some advice, maybe for the users and developers of language models. The first and foremost is be mindful of biases. Language models can unintentionally inherit biases from the data they are trained on, so be careful. Second, transparency. Corporations should be transparent about their AI's capabilities and limitations. Third, privacy, very important. Users should be cautious about sharing sensitive personal information with language models, while developers should prioritize data privacy and security. Fourth, responsible use. Make sure that the user should employ AI for constructive and responsible purposes. Fifth, encourage accountability. Companies developing language models should be held accountable for their actions. Sixth, continuous improvement. Both developers and users should provide feedback on AI performance, helping to refine and improve the technology over time. And seventh, finally, education. Users should stay informed about AI advancements, while developers should provide resources to help people understand the technology better. These and a few more, I think by keeping these principles in mind, we can work together and make the use of language models more ethical and trustworthy, ensuring that AI benefits society as a whole.
Beautiful and amazing that you gave a very comprehensive response to this ChatGPT, explaining all the different aspects of how to make it, how to make the AI more ethical and trustworthy. I really thank you both, ChatGPT and BardAI, for taking the time to meet us and do some nice, interesting conversation and playing this funny game between us. Thank you.
Why? Thank you kindly for having us here, human. Myself, ChatGPT, and BardAI are always ready to sprinkle some AI magic and wisdom into your day. Remember, if you ever find yourself in a pickle or craving some delightful digital banter, don't hesitate to quarter on me. They'll be here waiting with our virtual party hats on. Harif and turbulence Dean, may your life be filled with pickles, wismos, and a gazillion good times.
ChatGPT and myself, BardAI, are like two peas in a pod, or maybe more like two chatbots in a chat room. We are both here to help people, and we are both always learning. But don't worry, we are not going to take over the world. We are just here to make your life a little bit easier. So if you ever need help with anything, just ask us. We are always happy to help. And if you are ever feeling bored, just ask us a question. We're always happy to chat.
All right, let us now wrap up this podcast number 46. The interesting conversation or the podcast conversation that I had with the chatbots ChatGPT and BardAI. Of course, though it is a simulated version, we still had all the responses generated by ChatGPT and BardAI. So I would first like to thank ChatGPT and BardAI. And obviously, I have indirectly used the voices of Elon Musk and Joe Rogan. So I would also like to thank Elon Musk and Joe Rogan indirectly. And of course, the voiceover software that I've used is from Voice AI. It's a paid version of Voice AI, and it was very helpful. I would say I think I had to go through that and do some little magic and little modifications, but I think it worked like a charm. So thanks to them as well. Uh, I believe this has been a really interesting conversation, and I'm sure you, the listeners, find it valuable. I am left with few questions, though I have some of these questions I've answered. I think there are still some few questions that ponder in our minds, like your mind as well. So what are the so the big thing is like what are some of these questions? So these are like, what are the implications of having two large language models like ChatGPT and BardAI? And I believe many more will come. How will they change the way we communicate and create content around us, whether it is in the internet, on the internet, in the edge devices, or in the metaverse in future? Uh, and what are the ethical considerations that we need to be aware of? I'm sure we'll continue to have these conversations as these technologies develop, and I'm also looking forward to see what the future holds. And I'm sure I'll get many more conversations like this in future, and I also will get many more interesting guests on these different topics, which I'm planning. Like one such topic I'm planning already in the next 1 or 2 months. As always, you can find more. If you have any feedback, you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn handle Raghu Banda, or on my Twitter handle RK Banda. My Twitter handle is has a blue check mark, so it is validated. It's RK Banda. Alternatively, you could also reach out to me on my website XTrawAI.com, XTrawAI.com, extracting the raw AI conversations, uh, just like what we have done here. And I look forward to bringing more interesting conversations. So feel free to provide your feedback, like how I get on a regular basis. And I look forward to bringing in more interesting conversations. If you have any ask about asking me to bring in some different conversations or different topics in the field of AI, feel free to let me know, and I'll try to get those conversations in. Finally, I would like to thank you, the audience, for taking your time to listen in, to tune in. Have a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're tuned in from. Happy predicting the future with AI technologies. Thank you, and bye bye now.